Good evening and welcome to episode, I think, 33 now of HinduDad, podcast with dads. And today I am joined by Kunal Chudasama. Kunal, how are we this week?
We all good, mate. Nice to be back. Obviously, me and you had a chat about a few things. So, yeah, it's good to be back.
Mate, it's been a long time since we've been on air. It just doesn't seem to work out recently. I know it's been difficult for Bhav, especially with myself, being at weddings, and our diaries just haven't been able to sync up. So I know you've been telling me, listen, bruv, don't drop the momentum, like keep it running, keep it going. And so, our diaries haven't matched up this week. It's been the perfect opportunity for me and you to catch up, right?
It is. Yeah, like I said, there's a fantastic product. HinduDad can only grow. And it's reach out to people, and that's what it's all about. So, yeah, and I message both of you to pester you both. What's happening?
Keep it moving, boys. Keep it moving.
You have to keep it going.
Well, this is it. But you know what? There's two reasons why you're here today, isn't there? Like, one of them, we've got something pretty exciting to discuss. But I'm not going to let you divulge any information onto that just yet. But then the other half of it is, people are getting ready for kids going back to school. The summer holidays have finished. Like, what part of the summer we got, I don't really know. Apparently next week meant to be pretty good. I think the last 6 weeks have just flown by, and before we know it, we're all going to be stuck sitting there in rush hour traffic again and losing 2 hours of our day just in commuting, right? But now, it's been immensely busy for us. Weddings have come back with a vengeance. We're only just starting to slow down on that front at the moment. And it's ridiculous, man. 13 to 16 to 18-hour days. There was one wedding that I did where we did 7 hours of driving plus a 13-hour day. It's ridiculous, man. I don't know how much longer I can keep up with.
No, it's part of the pace, isn't it? I mean, for us, don't forget, Leicester goes back a lot earlier than the rest of the country. So,
well, that's right, because different parts of the country go back at different times, right? It's normally about a week's difference, yeah. So are you saying that in your side, everyone? Right, they've already gone back this week.
Yeah, so they went back last week.
Last week, jeez.
Yeah, they were spread out. I think they kind of started on Wednesday, some started on Thursday, and some even started on Friday. I don't understand why the Friday, especially when they're going to be off Saturday, Sunday, Monday again. So, bit of an unusual one, but hey,
it's always been the case, though, isn't it? You always start back on a Thursday or a Friday, innit? And just for that 1-2 days, maybe it's just a settle-in period. Let them get the last bit of the holidays out, have the little chats and things like that, and then Monday's business, innit?
Well, no, see, it's unusual because Sia went back last week. No, Sia's been back for about 2 weeks now. This is her third week. Because obviously
so just to put it into context for people that haven't joined the show before, so Sia is Kunal's daughter. She's 3 years old and she's currently attending, is it nursery?
Yeah, she's at nursery at the moment. So so she doesn't start school till next year. So she went back about 3 weeks ago. This is her third weekend because her nursery is a part of the college. So they have the same breaks theoretically.
Gotcha.
School. So to be fair, Sia was only supposed to have 4 weeks off, but she's ended up having something like 8 weeks off because she fell ill.
8 weeks. Oof.
Yeah, she's had a full summer holiday.
So what did you guys do during that time? So obviously you haven't planned to take that long off.
No, so it's kind of been a bit of a weird one. She's always been split between both grandparents. Monday, Tuesday, my mother-in-law has a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. She's my mum, so she still had that same split, and we've kept that split anyway, just so she knows what happens when she is off. We've been fortunate because in between, Sona's been off for a week. Sona was off last Friday as well from work, and it things were just fortunate. That's all it was. And then I had 2 days off with her. So, you know, we went to go and do things like cinemas. She's been to the fun fair. She's just been
And the
doing
thing
loads of
is,
various different activities.
how do you find it with your employers? Like, obviously, like Reshma's just returned to work. And you know what? She's had quite a rough time of it because Jaden had a week off from nursery. That was the week she was meant to start back at work. And so she had it extended and started the following week. But they went to my in-laws for the week. I was working flat out that week. So I was like, I'm not really going to be around. So it does make sense if he's got the time off and you have, then go to your mum's, because at least that way your parents get to spend, you know, a fair bit of time with him during that week. But he went there ill. Reshma got ill. They've both come back ill. And literally I've been fighting it off for the past like week and a half, like ridiculously. She's had to get onto antibiotics and everything. And I feel exhausted. But it's also, if we send him now into nursery and he gets sent home, like obviously Reshma's had a day or two off after returning back to work after being on maternity. So it's not, you know, the position that she wants to be in, but it is what it is. Now, every time, like, we'll wake up in the morning and he's got the sniffles, or, you know, like, they'll say, this is how he's been today if this happens. Like, you know, the loose nappy rule, innit? If they do 3 loose nappies in a row or in a day at nursery, after the third one, they're sent home. And then they can't return for 48 hours. What do you do? Do you know what I mean? Like, we're fortunate in the sense that I'm a little bit more flexible. But do you have that flexibility in your work?
So my work's always been really good. So nice, to be fair. We both work at good workplaces where managers have always been kind of open, understanding. And I think it's always just been a question of, well, are you able to work from home, even do the bare minimum? And we're happy for you to do that. So I think we've both had the flexibility of that. You know, Sia's, like, we've taken Sia into hospital at 10 o'clock at night and got him at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning sometimes. The amount of time she's been, I've lost, well, I think not lost count. I think that's wrong. I think we've taken her to A&E most probably about 7 odd times.
Wow.
Two or three of them have been late nights coming back home. You know, I remember an incident with my mum, and my mum was like, she's got a really high temperature. I was like, don't worry, she'll be okay. She's a little fighter. And hey presto, I got home and I was like, oops, time to ring 111 and see what they're saying. Next thing you know, we're in an ambulance heading off to the hospital to make sure she's okay. But it's one of those, isn't it? That you try and do everything for your child, and you sometimes you do have to go through that extra length as well. But you know,
no, it's difficult, and you know, these are the scenarios that people don't really want to see themselves in, or put themselves in, or even think about it.
No, they don't, and it's difficult, isn't it? You know, and it always will be difficult. The only thing you can do is just try and help them and just kind of battle. It's a battle, isn't it? You know, you can either battle them through it or you don't. You again, you know, like you mentioned with nursery, I always think if Sia was okay and there's another child that came in ill, would I want Sia getting ill? The answer is no. So therefore, we'd always come to that conclusion of, do we send it to nursery or not? Then it comes down to taking out. We normally ask, I'll be absolutely honest, we normally check with work if we can. If we can't, we ask both grandparents, does anyone mind looking after her? And then kind of take things from there. It's the only way to kind of do it, to be fair.
It's difficult, isn't it? Like, I can, you know, single parents and, you know, people in different situations must find it extremely difficult, especially like if they don't have people around them that they can, you know, rely on for support like that. Like, we're extremely lucky. Not everyone is in the benefit of that position, you know?
No, not everyone has a support network. And it can become very difficult for a lot parents, single parents. We talk about even normal working parents. It is hard depending on, your
No, for
work-life
sure,
balance.
man. And the thing is, what I will say is, if you are a parent, if you are in this scenario, talk to us. Let us know what you do. Like, how do you overcome these issues and, these times where you've got to find additional support to take care of your child because you've got to go to work. We're all at a point now where we can't afford not to go to work. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've been through this pandemic. It's been almost 2 years. People are tired of living on the back seat. Do you know what I mean? Like, things are just starting to open up. People are starting to get a bit more grounded, a bit more comfortable. You go out shopping now or you go out on the main roads and whatnot. People don't wear masks in a lot of places. There's a percentage of people that will still wear masks. Like, we try to when we go shopping on some jobs and this, that, and the other, depending on the risk level that we put ourselves up to. But I'm still certainly one of them people that rolls around with masks in their car. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think we definitely have to. I mean, so my workspace is no masks anymore. The odd people wear a mask. And
when you say your workspace, is that the space that you're in right now where there's only you?
No. So when we're back in the office, so I'm in the office normally
right.
Monday to Friday.
Okay.
Apart from when I do the late shifts, so for example, today I'm working from home. But most of the time, I think in the office we've mostly got about 100 people, maybe more, maybe even 200 people. And only 1% will wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a large office space is the one thing I can say. It's an open plan, and everyone's sensible.
I guess the other question then that springs to mind is, are you comfortable going into the workplace like that?
So during the pandemic, I've been in the office anyway, all the way through. So there's only one slight change, which is not having to wear a mask when getting off from your desk or things like that. Now it's easily forgotten, and sometimes you just need to get something done urgently, so you're just bouncing along from your desk, going from one end to another, and you're there for about 2 seconds, and you move along and come back to your desk, kind of thing. So to be fair, all the desks are kind of a meter apart, 2 meters apart, so still legally so to say,
so it's
that workspace.
Somewhat COVID compliant, you would say.
Yeah, COVID compliant anyway. So, yeah, absolutely fine. No issue with that at all. So, I think, we keep talking about COVID and it was something I was like reading on the news, and I was like, so the first 7 bits were about Afghanistan and things like that, and obviously what's happening there. But I was like, Where's COVID gone all of a sudden? It's still about, but we don't hear anything about it now. Is it kind of being brushed under the carpet? What's going on with it? But I can potentially see.
Do you think it's going to become a bit more prominent now that, schools are going back, colleges are going to open, universities going back?
Yeah, I think it will be a bit more open. I think when universities go back, I think that's more telling. Come on, we've all done Freshers Week. It's going to be insane. People in and out of their halls, people getting drunk.
Well, the thing is, like, obviously the people that started university within the last 18 months didn't really get Freshers Week, did they?
No, so this is effectively, it will be...
Now it's time to party hard, isn't it?
Exactly. So this will technically be the 2 sets or 3 sets, even possibly, of Freshers Week. So it's going to be absolutely insane. And not forgetting, people in that last year of them, that last year of uni, they'd want to blow out as well. So you could potentially be talking 4 sets of Freshers Week, 4 different groups. So let's see what happens. I think we've got to all stay positive throughout this pandemic anyway. I don't think we can let the situation get to us, so to say. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see where we are. But kids are kids, hey?
Well, this is it. So in a different topic then, before we get to your news and this exciting reveal that we have for everyone, I've noticed recently when I've been dropping Jaden off at nursery, like, he's got to this age now where he's starting to understand what's going on, and he knows that I'm going to be dropping him off at nursery. Like in the car ride, as we're getting into the car, or when he's getting his jacket put on in the morning now, he's starting to sense that I'm on my way out. They're going to drop me. And mate, I'll tell you what, like I do the drop-offs most mornings. And literally he kind of like swerves to avoid going over to the carer or the person at nursery. And he literally bawls his eyes out, man. It's so difficult. Like I know that Reshma would struggle to go and drop him off like that. And we have to get up, like do it and get on with it. And I put a message out yesterday, and my cousin Sunil got back to me and he was like, you know what? I've been through the same experience. What I used to do was call the nursery an hour later just to see how he was getting on, which is exactly the same thing as what I've been doing, to see if he settled, had breakfast and so forth. And literally every day they're like, oh yeah, he's fine. He was all right. Once he was in the door, he was cool. He had his breakfast and, you know, this, that and the other. But man, is it difficult watching him cry and go in. Like today, literally, I gave him over to Megan. Megan, like, sat there for a minute and he was crying and, you know, I was like trying to calm him down. And then I noticed that something distracted him and all of a sudden he was like, oh, cool. So then I thought, you know what, let's just try and distract him, right? So they was like, all right, bye, look at that car, look at this. And then as she started walking away with him, he's just looking with these tears rolling down his face and like looking at me like, don't leave me. And then he got to the door, had a little quick look round, and the tears kind of like stopped and the face changed. And then he looked back at me and he was like, I was like, mate, you're going to be fine. You're absolutely fine. You do this to play with my emotions, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I messaged you on the back of that and I was like, mate, just let him deal with it. That's my theory. Do you know what? I didn't have to do any of the drop-offs.
You didn't? Man, you're so lucky. It's difficult, man, especially because there's been this period of time where he was okay going over and he didn't cry. And we were like, yeah, you know what? This is solid. This geezer's like strong. And now all of a sudden, because he's aware of his surroundings, he's aware of the people around him, it's becoming more difficult, man. How did you get away with not doing any drop-offs?
So I got away because I'd always start at work early. So I'd always miss out all the drop-offs. Sona, it was a natural because she works she works in town, but even before she was in and around town, she had more flexibility than I did. Don't forget, she actually taught at the college, so Sia was dropped off and she'd go to work. So I never got around to doing that. The only thing I had was...
So it's almost a crash at work, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. So the only thing I kind of did was when she had settling in days, I took her twice and she was just bawling her eyes out. Like, this ain't going to be where I want to be. But look, they get through it. Like, so, you know, Sia's gone through various different changes at nursery. So her nursery has 4 carers in each area, apart from the group she's in now, which has only got 2 or 3. So, you know, when we used to drop her off in the baby room, she knew exactly who she wanted to go to, and if the 2 carers weren't there, she'd create a fuss. She'd create a fuss. She'd be like, I ain't going.
At what age did she roughly start to like become that alert?
So Sia was always it's going to sound daft and I don't mean this in a horrible way or how proud I am of my child. Sia picked it up straight away. She always knew. She knew who she was comfortable with. She knew who she wasn't comfortable with. You know, so I mean, the same things happen to every single group. Every time she moved classes, it's happened. So we've been fortunate enough where the nursery have said Sia's getting bored of class, so we're going to bump her up. So
really?
So she was in 0 to 2s, and before she was 2, she got bumped up to the next class. Yeah, because
she was understimulated.
She was understimulated. They were like, she's just ahead of the rest, so we're going to bump her up. And we're like, okay, not a problem at all. Bump her up. And we knew, people have listened to past podcasts and whatever, Sia's got, microtia, which is, so touch on microtia just very quickly, they're born with an underdeveloped ear, for those who don't know. So I think it was all about her development and how much we can push her. So we pushed her and we said, fine, you're going. And to be fair, she was given this lady who was her main practitioner, who was very, very thorough, very straightforward. I'm going to say it because, do you know what? I've grown to
it's your experience, yeah.
So the lady's named Christine. I know she's on Facebook as well, so I get to follow it.
Hi, Christine.
So Christine is, do you know what? I think we didn't get to know her as parents. I think we sometimes took her the wrong way or whichever way. But I think Christine was perfect for Sia because Christine pushed Sia to another level. She I felt as though she demanded more from Sia and got the best out of Sia in her own way. She's not horrible or anything. She's a really, really nice lady. And, I remember
But she challenged her, innit? She guided her and challenged her.
She challenged and guided her. Me and Sona felt like, whoa, who is this lady kind of thing. We took it the wrong way. As parents, initially, we took it the wrong way. I remember writing in an email that we both composed to the nursery. And actually, evidently, it was actually an apology to the nursery manager, Jackie. Jackie sometimes listens to the podcast as well. So
evening, Jackie.
Yeah, so we sent Jackie an email saying
you keep dropping names like this, brother. I'm going to spend the whole show saying hello to everyone.
Yes, you will. We'll say special hello to someone else afterwards. Jack, we sent her an apology of saying, really sorry. Can you forward this on to Christine? But Christine's really helped here, as in become even more independent, become more of a leader, so to say, become stronger, more willed. And I think Christine has played a part in that. She must really deny it, but she has, and that's what I said to Sona at the time. I said, do you know what? Christine's perfect for her because Christine's going to push her to a limit and take her above that. So, going on to this, even before Sia was 3, so there's another age group, which is 3 to 5s. So before Sia turned 3, she was all ready to go into 3 to 5s.
Yeah.
So then we had all the emotions of 3 to 5s again. So Sia didn't build a relationship with Christine at the start, so she kept kicking off. But then that's partly, I think, what the emotions we as parents felt. But we knew she had to get it
that's
done.
Also a next step that obviously I'm yet to encounter. So while this question's fresh in mind, what's it like when your kid doesn't want to go there because they don't feel comfortable or, they're not 100%, in their surroundings, but you've got to take them there and drop them off and things like that? How do you manage their expectations?
So this is a learning, is what I will say for any parent, is get to know the person. Don't make the same judgmental mistakes that me and Sona did. We shouldn't have made them, and just don't do them. Get to your practitioner.
Well, the thing is there's two sides in it. Like, you drop them off there, you don't know what happens once you leave those doors, right? Back in the day, you could go into a nursery, you could drop your kid on the inside, you could see what the surroundings are like, you could find some comfort level for yourself. You can't do that anymore. Like, we're not allowed past the front gate. We literally ring a doorbell on the outside. They'll come and collect them outside. When we get there to collect them, the same thing. You ring the doorbell, they'll bring them out.
Yeah, I think that's difficult for you, especially you guys now. I think for us, it was a lot easier at the start because we spent some time at the nursery. Like, we were in our offices. We've got to know them all. So we know who Sia's gone to. Like, we'll even have a chat.
Now, don't get me wrong. Reshma did like settling in days, but she wasn't there for very long. Do you know what I mean?
No, they're never very long anyway. But we obviously Jaden's there's loads of things that Jaden's missed out on. So like we've been to their Christmas parties. We like to actively get involved in anything and everything basically. So we've got to know every single one of them over time. I think over a good period.
Yeah.
So I think we've been fortunate. I think obviously because with Jaden, he's a COVID baby, so to say, it's been difficult.
It is,
But
man.
yeah,
But as much as it's been difficult, like there's some level of resilience that have come with these kids. Do you know what I mean? Like they've had it different, but they've also gained a different confidence in the sense that for like Jaden, he's been around not just his mum since he was born, but me as well as my parents as well. Do you know what I mean? So he's had the nurture of 4 people quite consistently throughout
yeah,
his
but
time.
it's that typical first child thing, isn't it? Where the first child would always get all the attention. You
The
know,
silver spoon or the golden spoon.
the golden silver spoon, whichever way you want to take it. Sia's had all of that, but like, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Each step Sia's taken. I mean, like, Sia's gone back to nursery now. Like I said, Sia always went ahead of the rest of her friends. So it was kind of like she was making new friends all the time. So now she's gone back. Like yesterday was her first proper full day back. She was in full swing. Why? Because she had all her
All of her
friends
friends back. Yeah.
and she obviously one of the eldest ones. So she's technically the leader. So she's got it back, and you could tell she's got that strut back about her. That, do you know what? I'm back, kind of thing. And it's weird, you know. Like I've not picked her up. I could have picked her up from nursery, but I've not had a chance. But because I use my half an hour to have lunch, dinner with her. But you can tell her confidence has just gone out of the roof again because she's back in her comfort zone. She knows that, like, you know, it sounds weird. She's one of those kids who's
Well, it's not Groundhog Day again, isn't it? Where she's just at home, like she's back into the swing of things and into a routine, right?
she is back into her routine, so she's enjoying it. She knows, well, tomorrow's the only day she's got to go. She normally doesn't go in on a Friday, so tomorrow she's
Right.
gutted that so I can see her kicking up a fuss tomorrow because tomorrow is meant to be her and grandma day. We're gonna go shopping. I get a treat, I get sweets, I get chocolates, I get whatever, and that's the way it rolls. But tomorrow she ain't gonna have that. Tomorrow she's going nursery, so tomorrow it's
Right.
follow rules. But yeah, look, get to know them all. And like I said again, it's difficult. Jaden's
It
just
is,
going to
man.
bounce from one room to another, and you won't be able to. But if you
Well, the
can
thing is,
try and
like,
get to know
obviously,
the
he
person.
learns a lot at nursery. We see it, and like last night, he got in, and he was so tired that we put him to sleep at 6:30. And generally, he's awake till about at least 7, half 7, right? Maybe even 8 o'clock, pushing it. So he fell asleep early, and in my head, I said, so we've got my cousin Nisha staying over, and I said to Nisha, look, I guarantee you, this guy's going to wake up before his next feed, and just that will be it for an hour or so. And literally, when it came to his feed time, like he'd had half his feed, and then he kind of woke him, like become a lot more alert, woke himself up. More so because of the fact that mummy had missed him. She didn't get her opportunity to play with him after work because he fell asleep. So she was like, I shouldn't wake him, but I want to play with him for a little while. But dude, this guy literally, he was awake longer than Reshma could stay awake. And in the end, bruv, like whatever he's learned at nursery, like his hand-eye coordination he's working on. So he's like, poof, poof, and making sure like he's literally connecting one finger to the other, making sure like, you know what I mean? And then he's like, poof, poof. I'm like, you sit here clapping away, bruv. It's not like any of us are trying to sleep or anything. You know what I mean?
No, they're gonna do it. And nursery will teach them a hell of a lot.
But this is what Bhav said, right? And he said it a few months ago when Kaylin was like 9 months old. He was like, the geezer doesn't sleep at night. When he wakes up at night, he's sitting there at stupid o'clock and he's sitting there clapping away or making noises or practicing the things he's learned during the day. And obviously yesterday, Jaden, given half an opportunity, he was there for like 2.5 hours just clapping away and doing his own. So
yeah, so we used to have that with Sia. We used to. So Do you know what? I half miss those days. To
It
be fair,
is
we get
cute
it
though,
from.
isn't it? Like before all their teeth come in, they've got this gummy little smile, and literally you can do anything. And to hear that little giggle and then see that gummy face, it's just brilliant, isn't it?
It is. We've got pictures. We've always kept all the pictures of Sia anyway. I think that's another good thing that the modern world we live in, where
Our
pictures can
generation,
be stored
yeah.
for exactly stored forever, ever and
Well,
ever.
not just pictures that are stored, like obviously the video clips and things, right? But one thing that I love is like from next month, I'm going to get stuff come up on my timeline or like, my Google photos to be like a year ago, this is what your kid looked like. Or a year ago, you did this.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm
they're
looking forward to all of that,
exactly.
man. But at the same
They're
time,
always
you
the
realize
bottom.
how quickly they've grown. And we've said it before, we've said it a million times, but you don't truly value the statement until you're in this position of how quick they grow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Sia's just grown so quickly. It's yeah. There's nothing that surprises us or amazes us. We know she's a right little madam. She is the bossy one in the
The question
house.
is, who did she take after?
Sona will always
This
say
is your
me.
opportunity to drop Sana in it or not.
I know Sona will always say me, because she can be a handful. She is boisterous. She's not just your
Were you a
typical girl.
handful as a kid, mate?
Yeah, I was a handful. Basically, my mum says I was a handful, but basically, Sia just tops me as well. She is a hurricane.
That's interesting. So then, what about Hema then? Was Hema a handful? Was she a quiet one?
Now Hema was quiet. Hema was quiet. I
Really?
was the handful. Yeah. Sia's a hurricane. As in, if she's
Which
in
is
full
weird
flow, she's a
because
hurricane.
it's normally the first kid is quite like reserved in it, and the second one's like, "No, I'm gonna do what I want."
No, this Sia's a real she can be a real handful. But then I say that, but she has this really caring side about her as well. I think her caring side. I think she cares from her heart. That's for sure. Any little child. If she had Jaden right now, well, I bet you, when Jaden was ill, if you had Sia for that whole week, she would have kept telling you guys, look, you need to give his medication now. She'd remember everything like clockwork.
Mate, so basically, like where Reshma was at, my in-laws, my brother-in-law's kids were around there as well because obviously, they were on like half term or week off
Yeah.
from nursery and so forth. So the first, I think, day or two, the youngest one was there, and he's literally a year older than Jaden, like a year and a month. His name's Aiden, and Aiden is like, he's just a little comedy guy. Honestly, like if you tell him no, he's like, how can I do this? Like, don't do that, Aiden. And he's like straight in there doing exactly what you told him not to. But the one thing is, he's very like alert and he's very like loving in the sense that he'd go and get like baby wipes to clean Jaden's face, and then he'd like wipe baby
That's
wipe.
it.
And then you've got the elder one, Kush. Kush is Reshma's favorite. She'll actually admit to it as well. Like, but Kush, he was literally looking after Jaden. He was like, "No, you shouldn't do this, baby," or "Come on, baby, let's do this," or like singing him nursery rhymes and stuff like that. And she was literally talking about it last night. She was just in awe, thinking it was the last thing she expected from him. Do you know what I mean? But the fact that he was like that with him was really, really sweet. But yeah, man, like I forgot where we were going with this, man. But honestly, they surprise you every single day, innit?
Yeah, I think Sia had it a lot because when she was in her original class, 0 to 2, there was a lot of babies in there, and I think she understood she was. I'm hoping she had some kind of understanding that I'm the older one here, so I can walk, I can do things, but anytime a baby cries, she goes straight to a practitioner and tell them that that baby's crying. They want their milk.
Yeah.
Or things like that. So she's always had that
She's very alert.
from a very so she's always had it before she was 2, where she was always in close contact with babies. So she kind of had a good understanding. So she's always had that, you know. She
quite nurturing.
Yeah, she's nurturing. I don't know. I can't say I don't know. She definitely got that from Sona. That's for sure. But yeah, we'll see what happens. You know, I think kids are great. You know, they're one of those. But we'll see. But yeah, I'll share my good news at the same time.
So I've got a question for you then. So, you know, we spend a lot of time talking about the stories that we have with our children and things like that. One of the things that we rarely do is ask each other what each other do in their own free time. Like, what do you like to do in your free time? Or what have you done recently in your free time that you haven't had the chance to do in a while?
Been to a football game.
Does free time exist?
Look, free time, you've got to make time. That's what I will say. And that's something I slowly started learning. I think you've got to make time for each other, which we do, which me and Sana haven't done, if I'm being honest. Various different changes to life and so forth. Something that we haven't done. And I've openly admitted to that. Me and Sana need to make more time for each other. But at the same time, individually make some time as well. So it was really nice and refreshing. I went up to Liverpool to go watch a football game. And I haven't done that since. Yeah, so I was up for the first home game of the season, Liverpool-Burnley.
Did they win?
Yeah, they won. We won 2-0. So
it's not very often that you can say that, is it?
Mate, just football's not a conversation, not the way the Champions plays. I'll take that. Look, there was.
Do you know what I love about this subject is the fact that you and Bhav both have the same face when I say this.
Do you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. It's fine. Look, I'll still support them. I'll still back them. You know, it comes back to this thing that, you know, look, it's not going to change. It's one of those where the only way to change it is, and look, I can go onto Twitter and I can go onto social media. There'll be hundreds of feeds of saying, get the owners out, or do this, or do that, or why didn't we do this? Why didn't we do that? I actually genuinely said, and I mentioned it in the Liverpool group. I mean, the group's quite variant. So me and this other bloke were the same age, you know, friends now. And then we've got someone else in that group who's 50 plus, so he supported Liverpool through their absolute glory days back in the 70s and 80s. And I actually said, the conversation here is, has every single Liverpool fan actually thought about this? Would we boycott the football club? Stop going to games? Stop feeding the club money? And have any of us decided to actually put money into our back pockets to actually just buy the club ourselves? But on a genuine note, there must be at least 5 millionaires, at least 1 billionaire that supports Liverpool, for everyone to get some money and just buy the club. The answer is no. So what's the point in moaning about the owners getting out? It's not going to happen. So it's just
that doesn't answer the question. But let's go back. Let's go back. Like, really and truly, what is it that Kunal Chudasama likes to do in any free time? And when was the last time you had an opportunity of free time where you did something for yourself?
It was actually just going to a football game. That was the last time I actually did something. Or
so how long ago was this?
When did I go to the game? 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And before that?
Don't remember.
Sad, isn't it?
Honestly, don't remember. It is. You know, I think the last time me and Son properly got to spend some time together was on holiday when Sia went to some class, a chocolate making class, and we realised parents weren't allowed, and we're like, oh, we got some time to ourselves, let's do something. And, you know, we got to just chill at the bar on holiday, have a drink, play pool, just do fun things together. But
you know what? Like, think about it like this, though. Yeah, it's I don't know about you, but when I was younger, like in my 20s, last couple of years of uni and whatnot, I was less the local in the sense that I lived in Highfields with my grandparents, but all of my friends were locals. We would literally meet up on a daily. Do you know what I mean? If not 3 to 4 times a week, we'd do curry night at Indian Queen. We'd go to like Blue Peter for a couple of drinks and a sizzler. Like, every night was something different, but there was always time to do something, right? Moving down to London, like what I found is, or moving back to London, should I say, what I found is because of the distance that we have to travel in order to meet other people, like those friends in the circle, and everyone's quite spaced out now. It's not that easy. Like diaries don't sync. Look how hard it is for me and Bhav to get our diaries to sync just to get on a show. Do you know what I mean? Like the last couple of months has been ridiculous. Before that, we were hammering it week after week after week. And yeah, things change, but I don't really think as parents you give yourself the time to for yourself anymore. Like there's something that I keep seeing on Instagram recently is like, why do you stay awake all night if you complain all day that you're tired? Like that kind of effect, right? With parents. The fact is, you stay awake longer at night and fight sleeping yourself because you want to feel like you've got a sense of something of your own or time of your own in it, where you do something that you might enjoy or watch something that you might want to watch, or just even a detox from everyone else.
Do you know what? I agree with you, and as we were talking, like when do you when would I have my own time and do things like that? So with my job, when I work a weekend, we tend to get 2 days off. And I was just thinking that I'd normally do something myself on my 2 days off. I'd go for a walk or just go somewhere, take the car somewhere, just go for a walk and just enjoy. But you know what? Something I will take back. So this time I didn't do that. And do you know what? This time I spent 2 days with Sia. And do you know what? They were the most amazing 2 days. I could relive every single one of those moments again. And the question is, would I want to do it again? Yes, I would. I'm working from home. And it's going to be weird because Sia's not at home on a Friday. I'm used to her being at home. Even though I'd go mental, but do you know what? I think they're the kind of they're special moments that you're never ever going to call back. You're never going to get back.
No, I completely agree with you. Like, don't get me wrong. When Jaden's awake, and if I've got the opportunity, like I'm straight in. You know what I mean? Or like I'll spend as much time as I can.
That's it. So,
most nights, if I can put him to bed, I'll put him to bed as well. But what I'm saying is, do you make time for yourself? Like, in short, is the question. Do you know what I mean? Like that time for yourself, either to reflect, to build yourself, to educate yourself, to detox, to just couch in front of television, or spend time with your other half, or even your friends, or like go out and meet someone outside of the house. Is your camera off somewhere, mate?
No, there you go. We have our own detox time. After Sia's gone to bed, we just detox. We watch our programs and whatever. So that's fine. I don't think we share as many programs that we both watch together. I think we started watching our own programs, but we'll have that time and we'll catch up and see how each other's day's gone, or things that need doing, we'll get them done. And that's how we'll do it. And that will happen every evening for about an hour to 2 hours, depending again on what I'm doing the following day. So if I'm on an earlies, I tend to try and get to sleep early. I've got to be out of bed 5:30 into work for 6:30 in the morning. So, and that's me traveling to Derby.
So what time would you say that your latest cutoff is of an evening that you need to be in bed? Like how many hours do you need?
I actually need 8, and I mostly have about 6.5 to 7.
And do you think that's adequate?
Is it adequate sleep? No, but
is it like when I say is it adequate? I mean, is it adequate for you? Like we're all different. Our body clocks are all different. We all work in different ways, right? Like for me, I push quite hard in the sense that I'll do my full day. I'll be awake from like obviously maybe about 7, 7:15. finish getting him ready, drop him off to nursery. My day begins. We'll do a full day, whether it's in the office, we're on site, with a client or at a wedding. But then, you've got your whole evening shift. And then by the time they've gone to bed, put the kids to sleep, then, Reshma will probably be in bed for about 9:30, 10, and she might want to watch a program or two. But I still feel like I've got things going on in my head, like things that I'm thinking about, things I want to do, things to finish off, things to create, or projects coming in, or whatever it is, and I can't switch off. Like, it's almost like I fight going to sleep. Like how our kids fight going to sleep. I fight, yeah. And before you know it's like 2 a.m, 3 a.m, and you're on the sofa, and like either you're awake in Amazon down the like rabbit hole, or you've fallen asleep. And the next thing you know, it's like 4:30, and it's like crawling up into bed. And she's like, "What time did you get up this morning?" But I fight it a lot, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. There must be other people.
I think there's loads of people out there. I think I've now set myself. If I'm going to go to sleep, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
That's the end.
I find it's a battle. It's like if I say I'm going to sleep and then I get up and I go like just get undressed and into bed, I'll probably be asleep within 20 minutes. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. And this could be at like 11:30. And recently I've been doing that. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like I've been getting a good 6 hours sleep. And prior to this last year, I'd be living off like 2.5 to 3.5 hours sleep a night, 4 hours at max. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
I almost feel guilty that I'm not able to apply myself as hard as I did before.
Yeah, my thing is that you have to rest your brain, you have to rest your body. Otherwise, what are you going to really give? Does that make sense? Like, if you imagine...
Yeah, this is something that Kevin and I have discussed.
It's not something that... I'm not saying it's easier now for you, but when, Jaden turns about 1.5, 2, coming up to 3, if you're not getting that sleep, mate, he's out of that bed and he's running around like mental. Obviously, Reshma's going to have to get to work. I'm just saying, hypothetically, you got a job.
I'm going to say, basically, what you're saying is it's going to get worse. You're going to need the sleep. Get to bed, kid.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, this week has been weird. Like, Sia's been waking up at, 6 o'clock every morning. And it's like, okay, fine. But then she'll just come into bed and just be like, Daddy, I'm giving you a cuddle. I'm like, that's fine. I said, just chill. Like, don't get up. Like, you don't need to get up. But she'll still come in our room. And she'll just want to cuddle. And that's all she'll want to do. But that's fine. You kind of take it as is. But when they start getting more and more active, that's when you realise, blimey, I'm getting tired now. That's when you need to switch. That's when you need to switch.
That's what's happening.
Exactly. I think I've tried to start finding balances of doing things and working around things. So
yeah,
it is one of those, dudes. We've got to keep healthy and fit for them more than anything as well, not just for our own sanity, but theirs as well.
Yeah, man.
We've got to keep up the pace with them.
Well, this is it. Like, I gotta say, I am very unfit. Yesterday I did the first bit of exercise that I've done in a long time. My friend Danny came over for dinner, and just before dinner, he was like, I've got badminton rackets and some shuttlecocks in the car. Like, should we have a quick game in the garden? I went, are you sure, bruv? Normally, I'm the first one to be like, nah, I can't bothered. And then yesterday, Nisha was like, I'm pretty good at badminton. I'll give it a go. And I was like, well, that sounds like a challenge. I have to see this. So then they both went out into the garden, started playing. And then he was like, there's a spare racket over there, bro. Pick it up. So I did. And do you know what? For the 10 minutes that I was playing, I actually really enjoyed myself. And then I was like, last night, my rabbit hole on Amazon was, how much can I get some, badminton rackets and shuttlecocks for? And like stuff like that. But, mate, like you say, having the energy to do things, wanting to do things, the will and the drive, there's so many factors that get involved, right? And it's brain training to make sure that you get into it. Obviously, when Jaden's a bit older, I'm sure I'm going to have to get into it, regardless whether I'm, ready to do it or not. But the fact is, man, like, keep yourself fit, like, get into some sort of routine, keep your strength up. Like, if you struggle holding these kids at, sub 1 years old, you still got at least another 3 years to go before they want to be on their feet, if all with it.
Well, we still go with Sia now, but Sia's now going through, no one's carrying you. End of. You've just got to walk.
Yeah. That's a battle as well, isn't it?
It is, man. That's always a battle. Because, like, someone was like, stick her in a pram. I was like, you can't stick her in a pram.
Brother, I actually remember back to them days. Like, I remember being picked up from school, and like there was me and one other that the childminder used to pick up. Obviously, on the days that the other person wasn't there, I got to ride the buggy. But then, when the person was there, I was like, I don't get the buggy. What? I have to walk. Why do I have to walk? When I say that person, it's probably my little sister as well, out of all things. But why does she get to ride? Why can't I ride? But
it's one of those,
mate,
man.
Energy.
It's gotta be.
Yeah, man. So we're actually getting close to wrapping up our hour, mate, and we've got this huge announcement. It's
not that big.
It's big. It's big. Are you ready? Are you ready to talk to everyone about it?
Yeah. So me and Sona are expecting again. So another little Chudasama terror en route. So yeah.
Congratulations. And
thanks.
let's not say that. When are you due?
Feb. So yeah, due in Feb. So Sia's looking forward to it as well, being a big sister. And I think
a big sister, yeah.
Yeah, Sia's going to be the big sister, yeah.
So, are you looking forward to round 2 and another girl?
Well, we still need to find out whether it's a boy or a girl.
We're
going to find out.
Okay.
Yeah. So we need to. Well, we'll find out. I think in September. So yeah, September.
Oh, sorry, I'm pushing you a bit early.
Yeah, we'll find out in September. I think we'd want to know so Sia can.
Did you get? Obviously, you got to go to the scan last time round anyway, innit?
Yes, but we were kept outside until told otherwise. So yeah.
Yeah.
But it was. I remember.
So you're fortunate enough. Even this time, you'll be allowed to go into the scan.
Well, yeah, but it's like touching back on what we were saying at the start, wasn't it? Like, is a third wave coming? If it is, then the whole dynamics of everything just changes.
That could change.
Like, it's just everything's just counting down. So how much of the dynamics are going to change? Like, is it going to be, especially coming up to the birth as well? Like, I know from the last one, I went for a curry, and yeah, that's a different story. But
you went for a curry.
Yeah, I went for a curry when Sona was induced.
Lovely. You sound like Bhav now.
Yeah, I went for a curry, came back. Sona was still at hospital. I couldn't sleep anyway. I was just live writing, like, yeah, we're having a baby. I just had a shower, wore my Liverpool kit. They even told me to come back at 12. To be fair, I was already ready. I jumped in the car. I was just waiting in the car park. Then they rang me. I was like, oh, don't worry, I'm already here. I just walked in. They're like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm just waiting in the car park.
So, obviously, you've told Sia, I take it. What was her reaction when you told her that she's going to be a big sister?
She loved it. She loves the idea of being a big sister. She loves the idea of just the whole idea.
Like, she's at an age where she can actually understand it. Do you know what I mean? Like, she'll be there to be able to, she'll want to help out, or she'll want to do things as well, right? And become involved.
Yeah, exactly. We know she wants to help out. She even does role play now, like Grandma Baby.
Really?
Yeah, so she'll do a role play. She'll do Mummy Baby. She does all the different role plays already. So she's all set for that. It's just about trying to explain to her that you might need to share some toys, which she's okay to do sometimes, and sometimes
it's like always going to be difficult with a toy, isn't it?
Yeah, it will be difficult. So we'll see. You know, when that we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I think, like I said, she's a very open-hearted child, so I'm presuming she would just give her toys anyway and be like, "Here you go." The one thing she's already said
You
she's
say
not
that,
having
mate.
is,
One thing, gone, finish up.
yeah, one thing that she has put off limits is all her teddy bears. She's like, they're not having any of my teddy bears. So all
Really?
the teddy bears are off. Yeah, she's already said teddy bears are off limits. She's like, no, they're not
Right.
having any of my
But this
teddy
is
bears.
what I mean. Like, they're so smart, right? Because even Kush with Jada, when they were there together that week, he was like, "No, baby, this toy isn't for you. It's not for your age. You can't play with that." And like took it away from him and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So they're
Yeah,
smart.
so I think Sia's already barking out her orders. You know, she's already said, "Daddy, you look after you look after baby, and mommy will still get me changed and still put me to bed. You do everything else with the baby." I'm like, okay.
And is that
So
something you sort of discussed to say, like, you know, maybe this is how we're going to do it? So let's explain it to her like this so that she understands that's what the deal is? Or is that kind of just Sia's expectation?
that's Sia's expectation. I think she's always got an expectation of everything. She just
Yeah.
hasn't.
No, but you know, like,
Yes,
in the weirdest sense, the fact is one, yes, it could work, but two, she's obviously spent some time to think about it. But thirdly, like as parents, if we manage the first child's expectations to that extent, when the other baby arrives, it's not so much an issue because they've understood it, they've been trained about it, they've been taught and led to believe that this is how things are going to adapt. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people expecting their second, they always worry about how the first one's going to react, and you know, like whether they're going to be okay, whether they're going to share toys, or you know, whether they're going to kick up a fuss and a strut. But I think, you know, we try and forward plan our finances, we try and forward plan everything. Why not try and forward plan that?
I think it's always you can forward plan up. You know, we've already we started talking to about it, see more and more. But then at the same time, not overdoing it as well. Especially because I remember the day that we told her, she turned around to us and said, "Well, who's going to be my best friend now?" And we were like, "Okay, so you subconsciously worrying about who's going to be your new best friend." So we were like, you know, it took us aback for a second, and it was like, "Okay, look, you know, baby will be your best friend, and we'll all be best friends." And that was only to kind of put it to her. She started. I remember that first day. She was like, "Well, if this person looks after baby, who's going to look after me?"
Yeah.
And Sia naturally, like me, is a worrier, and if she starts worrying, she won't sleep. And when I worry, I don't sleep. And
Yeah.
that's just how
Rashna's
we.
the same.
That's how exactly how we both are. So there's very limited things that we can explain to her because we know she's going to start worrying about it subconsciously in the back of her mind. She'll start worrying about, like, even nursery. We've told her that you're going on Friday, but we won't mention it to her tonight. Like today, it won't be mentioned to her that you're going nursery.
Yeah.
It'll be
And then
tomorrow
tomorrow
morning,
she'll be woken
right?
up normal day
And
style.
then we told, yeah, and then just
Yeah.
have. So I think she's more of a day-to-day person than you can't stress her out. So
Yeah.
like tomorrow, obviously, we'll explain. You know, the line's already been made up. It's look, tomorrow you're going to nursery today, but don't forget tomorrow. So it's going to be a double barrel of look, you are going nursery end of, but at the same time, don't forget if you go nursery today, kind of thing. Tomorrow we're going to London. So
Yeah.
and she knows that we're going to London. So it'll kind of both work in tandem to make her happier, but rather than stress her out the day before. Because if she stresses the night before, she just won't sleep. And we know that. She'll just start stressing about it. And yeah, she's a right little worrier. So I think there's bits that we do tell her, but then there's other bits we kind of just go, nod, yes, okay, don't worry about it kind of thing. But I think she'll be fine
And
when it comes to it.
Yeah, I'm sure she will, man. Like when it comes time and she sees the baby there and she wants to get involved, I'm sure she'll turn to big sister mode and ace it all. I was going to ask you, how did Sonna tell you this time?
Actually, do you know what? There's a funny story behind this one. So
Break it down in 2 minutes.
I got to break it down in 2 minutes. So obviously, we knew when it was Hannah and Kev's wedding.
Yep.
So we knew then. It was just when Sia mentioned it to us and went, Mummy's got a baby in her tummy. And we went, huh? We were like, stop talking rubbish. So I think.
What did she say in front of everyone?
No, she just said it to us. She's like, Mummy's got a baby
Right.
in her tummy. Mummy's got a baby in her tummy. And then I think it was about 4 days or 2 days prior to the wedding, we actually did the test. And it was just the two of us. And obviously came back positive. So we both knew at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was just, okay, cool. Now we've got a wedding to deal with. So like, let's get the wedding out of the way and then we'll tell the parents and we'll tell Hannah and Kev. And then, yeah, everything just, yeah, it was just then kind of a snowball effect, so to say. So yeah, no, it was fine.
Oh, amazing. No wonder you were smiling and happy at the wedding so much.
Exactly.
Slightly stressed out, thinking about, oh, mate.
Mate, that wedding was all about running around.
Yeah, it was a busy time. It was a busy time. And since then, that was like the first live stream that I operated. And since then, we've invested in live stream like equipment. We've done like 3 or 4 of them. And that whole side of things is picking up. But even that's a different animal, man. And I'm going to save that for another show. But what I do want to do is wrap up here. I want to say a huge thank you for Kunal for joining us this evening. I hope you all have enjoyed our conversation. Is there anything that you'd like to add, Kunal?
Have I got anything else to add? Yes, I will. So if anybody else wants to share a story, has a story to share, or anything, it can be the bare minimum, get in touch. I can tell you that now. When I first did my first podcast, the aim was to reach out to at least one person, and guess what? I did that. And it was nice because I spoke to that person one-to-one, and they was able to have a full-blown conversation about their mental health and things. So guys, reach out. It can be anything or everything. Just reach out to people.
This is it. I think that's a nice way to round up and close off through your own experiences, how you came on here as a guest and how you connected with someone else. And I think that's awesome, man. No, be proud, man. At the end of the day, as we've always said, this platform is here for us to discuss and share stories openly, to look for information, advice, and guidance. Whether you're male or female, doesn't matter to us. Pretty sure you've got a valid opinion and an expression to share. So either like, share, subscribe, donate, send on. Who cares? Just talk about the topic. But other than that, we hope to see you all next week. I don't know who will be with me. I don't know if Kunal will be with me. Maybe Bhav. No, Bhav's not back for another couple of weeks. But it'll be interesting to see who'll be in the hot seat next week. And on that note, it will be, won't it, mate? It will. So maybe on that note,
can host one with you.
Do it. You're hosting one now. Well, you're a guest now. All right, let's sort it out. Let's sort it out. I'll tell you what. I will challenge you. I challenge you to find a guest.
Okay. Let's take it on.
Yeah, find a guest for us to host next week.
Cool.
Fantastic. Right, guys. I'm gonna love you and leave you. It's almost dinner time, so let's get this show on the road. Kunal, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I will speak to you soon.
All right, then. Take care. Cheers.
All right, everyone at home, have a wonderful evening. Good evening and good night.